ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon on this Tuesday. It has had a little bit of a cool feel to it today. That I'm going to find my way by 7 p.m. to the coldest place in North Mississippi, those soccer fields out at Ballard Park. But it's nice to see that at least the cameras are lying to us at the moment. Look outside of our camera in the Caledonia area. High, thin clouds cover up the number. It looks just as warm as it has been the last few days. But obviously it is not, last few days, last week. Yesterday was cold. Today, obviously, colder this morning. Low levels of moisture out there and only really high and thin clouds. So cold this morning, by the way, that we were almost at a record, only 2 off of that at Tupelo Regional Airport. But it's this number, that measure of moisture, that rainfall, that's going to be the thing going forward. We are largely dry for much of the next week. So cold, but less cold than when we have been recently for tonight. Getting warmer as I think we near spring. Of course, spring coming up on Friday, so not that far away, and the weather's going to feel a lot more warm by then. The long Rain-ger, and I did the pun on the push alert, the thing where your app goes bing. I did the pun. I put an I in there for Rain-ger on that for rain. We're looking toward April, looking towards the next rain chances, because here's the deal. We are so dry, I think, for this week, and we're not really going to have much. Even our best chance, which is late tonight and early tomorrow, isn't very good. So 45 at 7 p.m. We're 38 by 10, dropping to 35 by 1. Notice how we kind of park there on temperatures overnight. Thick, high clouds moving in, and they are going to try to produce a little bit of precipitation. Most of that's going to be up north. And in our area, not really expecting it to add up to anything. I think it'd be shocking for it to really add up to really anything. Mama Justice Doppler radar showing us part of the reason why. Again, here are those high and thin clouds. No precipitation coming from those anywhere near us. High pressure, sinking air of the story with that. The nearest moisture is what we have up here toward the Midwest. That is kind of this wave of snow. And yes, I know we had a little wave of snow come in early yesterday morning. This is not a repeat performance of that. Our air is a lot drier down here. You see this high pressure we have down toward the Gulf. Over the next couple of days, that will start very slowly to bring in a little bit more moisture, or at least try to. The issue is it's going to struggle because there's yet another ridge of high pressure out west. All of that to say, the pattern pretty dry looking forward over the course of this week, as more than anything, we're going to start warming those temperatures up a bit more. And we're not going to get to record levels, but we're going to be a lot milder. Here's a look at Futurecast. And then this evening, again, at the surface, our wind's fairly calm. These are all high, thin clouds. It makes it look like it's super cloudy. And if you go up a long ways in the atmosphere, we have that layer of clouds. It is, but it's thin. And so that doesn't insulate us much. And so we have yet another chilly night on the way, just not mid-20s like we were last night. Despite that, I think we stay maybe just a hint above freezing for a lot of spots because of this cloud cover. It's just insulating enough. But notice a couple sprinkles coming out of Tennessee there. Most of that up there closer to Nashville, but we get a little bit down in here. So I wouldn't at all be shocked by the time our meteorologist Maggie McCall is tracking things tomorrow morning at 6:37 and 7:30 a.m. here in the Room to Room Weather Center. What she's going to mainly be looking at, sprinkles, probably fairly decent travel to and from your destination, but she'll get you hooked up with the latest information then. Track that just in case. Now, rain coverage less than 20% there. That's why I don't have it on here. We're going to probably have some sprinkles out there 6 a.m. through 9 a.m., maybe even through noontime. Not expecting it to be meaningful rainfall that really adds up to anything. So from 36 initially there, we're looking 41 by 9 a.m. I think we'll be warmer than today's high temperature was by probably around 11 o'clock in the morning. And notice those winds. See the S's there back around to the south. trying to bring up slightly warmer air. We're back in the lower 60s, just a hint below our 30-year average by the afternoon on your Wednesday. But after that, we build even more, looking toward Thursday, looking toward Friday, and into this upcoming weekend. In 60 seconds, we're looking at that weekend forecast, and we're going to focus in on the long-range rain chances ahead as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only had my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Every legend starts somewhere.
Not with perfection, but with a decision.
The decision to show up, work harder, and believe this place can change everything.
At Northeast, you're more than just a number.
We're built on opportunity, and our students are willing to rise to the occasion.
Here, success isn't handed to you, it's earned.
You don't just leave with a degree, you leave as a legend.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
You're watching Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon. Pattern shift alert, and we'll dig a lot more in this here in a minute. We've stayed very active recently with a big dip in the jet stream that kind of moved from west to east around the country. Had a big cutoff low back in the west coast. That then set a lot of waves of energy. That's how we had 4 chances for severe weather over an 8-day period. Well, now we've gone the opposite way here. Notice this kind of void that we have out here stretching from, Idaho all the way down there deep in the Pacific. I have to know how large that void is. There's a few clouds in there, but not much. That's almost 2,500 miles. I mean, you could just draw. I'll go ahead and do it, and then I'll step out of the way so you can see it. Just a giant area here, a huge circle of nothing going on. This is because of a big ridge of high pressure, and it's going to keep driving traffic as far as clouds go way up here. That is a pattern where if there was more cold air to work off of, and we were in a winter pattern where we just stay really cold for a long period of time. But we're really, 3 days away? Friday's the beginning of spring. So there's not enough cold air up there, so this pattern doesn't swing that way. For us, it's going to end up eventually being a lot warmer going through the extended forecast. A great shot outside here in Kosciuszko showing those high, thin clouds. Again, the high, thin clouds moving in on the kind of the north side of that ridge of high pressure. We were tracking there a moment ago. Down there in Natala County, 48 degrees the current temperature. This is the number I just can't get over here. The dew point at 10. Really dry air out there. You know, as winds pick up the next couple of days, you could make some arguments for elevated fire danger. Keep that in mind for any outdoor burning that maybe you would do, because that humidity is very low and that makes fire spread pretty quickly. Looking toward the horizon there, I might see a little smoke plume there in a couple of spots. Looking out in Ackerman, 48 degrees down in Choctaw County. Good evening to you in Ackerman and everywhere. And thank you all so much for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. And thank you to the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for your support as well. Monroe County and Aberdeen, those thick, high clouds showing up there. And I had to point this one out because that dew point, single digits at 9. Really dry air. Keep that chapstick ready. I think it's good for our SEC baseball forecast this upcoming weekend, presented by Carl Hogan Toyota. Friday, expecting high temperatures to be low 80s. Again, depending on first pitch time, those do sometimes wobble a little bit there, maybe a little bit cooler than that. But as you can see, we are definitely warm heading into this upcoming weekend in Starkville and becoming windier by the second part of the weekend. Ole Miss versus Kentucky. We're looking at 80 for that first pitch temperature. Might actually be a little cooler than that because I think that's an evening time game there. So you adjust to the 80s, you still need the jackets. Hey, dry air, you get that big variability in temperatures. 83 for Sunday's high and 85 degrees as we look into the Sunday time period there as well. So this is our big change for tomorrow. As you'll notice, we're milder to start the day, but with dry huge shift. I mean, we basically flip our numbers, right? We're 36 there at 7 a.m. and you flip them around with high temperatures coming in around 63 degrees. That's a big change from morning in the afternoon, and we owe that to the dry air. Have I said dry enough? Isn't it funny that now I'm about to show you rainfall despite the dry air? Here's why I'm not expecting this to be significant. So as you can see, this evening, 10 p.m., not much out there. Looking northward, we do show this a bit of moisture, some snowfall up there towards Springfield, Illinois. And on the south side of this, our futurecast tries to get just a little bit of rainfall down into here. Let's be clear about this for a second. Is it possible this could be a few sprinkles? Yes. Why am I not convinced? Because ultimately it's falling into such dry air. That's why I was showing you those single-digit numbers a minute ago there. As it falls into that actually could enhance the wind maybe just a little bit. Sprinkles on windshields, that's probably it. Low temperatures were milder than today by a lot. 40 where we'll start in Cleveland, 41 in Clarksdale. We're 34 Water Valley, 33 degrees in Houston, coming in right at the freezing point in Red Bay and Hamilton. So some frost out there for some, but not everybody. It's certainly not the hard freeze that we started this morning with. Now, as we switch those winds around just a little bit, somewhat of a wind chill, somewhere in the low 30s to maybe mid 30s for what it feels like. But obviously, this is way warmer, more than 10 degrees warmer than it felt for this morning. Your school bus forecast, as it picks up the kids from school in the morning, we're 36. Yes, we have the clouds, a couple of sprinkles. I don't think we necessarily need rain jackets out there. It would be a lot to get it that substantial. Maybe some spritzes. So, I mean, keep that in mind for planning with the kids as it drops the kids back off. In the afternoon, we're in the lower 60s there. So we still show some of these showers and even some moderate green on that from Houston back toward Aberdeen. 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, still heading to the east. That's a very pronounced return, honestly, looking at Futurecast. I just don't buy it because of all that dry air I was showing you a moment ago there. So I might be underdoing the chances for rainfall just a little bit because of that. But honestly, if it adds up to 5/100ths of an inch, that's a lot of rainfall. Going back to that school bus forecast, that's disruptive if you're waiting for the school bus. Other than that, it's just a swish, swish of trying to get the pollen mixed in. So, yeah, pollen soup. That's been the fun thing recently, hasn't it? The southerly winds mean it's going to be kind of blowing that around somewhat as those winds pick up toward the afternoon tomorrow under what should be mostly clear skies. We're 65 in Houston, 64 Water Valley, 66 Grenada, Greenwood back toward Belzona. Normal this time of year, coming in right around 67, so we're still running obviously a few degrees below that. So we keep those winds out of the south here on Futurecast by 8, 9 p.m. Wednesday. As I mentioned, the big story with this system is what's going on back out west, right? We have this ridge of high pressure back out here toward the Four Corners region, back out there in through Wednesday into Thursday. Notice how there's nothing there? And so we continue to have these waves. Look at this, same direction there. Next day, just a little bit of green, just has less moisture to work off of. And so we're not going to probably see any real impacts from that. So on the wide shot there, not a lot of big changes. It is a similar forecast. And when we don't change the forecast a lot, the sun does its thing and we gradually warm things up day after day. And so we're milder to begin early Thursday morning versus where we have been the last couple of days. Still cool, but I guess average cool, what we typically expect. Going 45 in Tunica, 44 in Grenada and Oxford. We're 40 in the Amory area and coming in 39 degrees in Tupelo, 41 there in Boonville, and 42 up in Tishmingo. So southerly winds continue. We keep those becoming a little breezier as we warm up. And again, moisture remains still fairly low. That elevated fire danger is something I think that continues in the latter part of this week as well. Some cloud cover out there Thursday. You can see a little bit more of that arriving, but we're still well ahead of any sort of rain chances there that could maybe arguably happen and extended. So highs on Thursday, we're 75 Tunica, 76 degrees Bruce, Houston, and Eupora, 76 Starkville, and 77 in Grenada. We're 82 though in Grenada by Friday. Way above our normal, but mid 80s for records, not there, despite the fact we probably cracked the 80-degree point there in Columbus and Starkville and the Amory area. And looking towards Saturday, we warm up even a bit more from there. So from 36 at 7 a.m., we're 54 by noon, 63 by afternoon on your Wednesday under partly to maybe mostly cloudy skies. There will be some showers, as we showed you a moment ago. Not impossible to run into a few of those. But honestly, I'd be really shocked if those sprinkles make it all the way down and really kind of saturate the atmosphere. 74 Thursday, 79 Friday, 82 as we look towards Saturday, and 83 by Sunday. So much, much warmer as we go into this upcoming weekend under the mostly sunny skies to go along with what we typically like to see. Again, Friday is the changeover from winter to spring. We've made it. Despite the fact we have flakes yesterday, we've made it. And obviously, the warm weather will dominate. But how long? We're looking at the long-range forecast. And I have some of your weather pictures you've sent in over the last couple of days that we'll look at for our weather watchers there as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, my name is Rosie. Regional Rehab Center helps kids like me by offering speech therapy, occupational therapy, and dyslexia therapy. Your support helps so many of us get what we need to grow and succeed. Please help the Rehab Center.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
So this is not going to be a shock based on the 7-day forecast you saw a second ago. It's going to be warm the next 6 to 10 days. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Thank you so much again for supporting us here in the Room to Room Weather Center. So big ridge of high pressure, stagnant pattern as we talked about. Sun gets in, what we call insolation, N-S-O-L, and not insulation like what you have in your house, but the solar effect getting in. And so just heats it day after day after day when there's no big transition. So we're not just above normal. We're talking, I'm just curious to see what they'll put on it. 90% chance of being above normal out there. That's, when you talk about the Climate Prediction Center, that's them basically saying, it's going to be rough. So warm and continue to be, again, highly likely for our area, as I'll clear that off for those out west, to be well above normal through, as you can see here, pretty much the remainder of the month. For fans of warmer weather, you win as March goes out, well, at least the second half of March goes out on a warm note. Looking at the rainfall chances, and this also is probably not going to be a shock, if there's no active weather under where those high pressure centers, then it's very likely you're dry. And yeah, it's a desert. They're always dry, but much drier than what they typically see even for this time of year out there. Looking for the next week. And then looking to the week after that, again, wrap it up the month, more likely than not to be dry throughout a large section of the country. But let's look at the jet stream. This is a river as fast-moving air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And let's kind of walk through how this pattern could play out for us. And no shock here, this is just going to kind of sit, and we're going to continue to have those northwest winds. What we're watching for, if we were to see some kind of more active weather, I have this set up to show not just precipitation, but we're starting to talk about like really heavy precipitation coming out of this, rainfall rate, that's what I'm looking at. So clearly with that big ridge out west, we're looking here Friday, we're looking here Saturday, virtually no chance for rainfall. We do have a little something that shows up there as we go towards Saturday. You see this little yellow? That indicates a little bit of mid-level lift with a weak wave moving in. I don't trust that as far as I can throw it this far out. Expecting a little wave like that, a little ripple that's probably way out over the Atlantic that we're not sampling to time out exactly like that. We will see as we get a little closer. Not impossible to have a little bit of moisture. We're going to need it, but I'm just worried that in this pattern sometimes we get that mirage rainfall. Notice by Sunday though, our big ridge has kind of broken down somewhat. Still back there farther southwest. We do have this weak little wave kind of moving toward us. This is Monday of next week. This is Tuesday of next week. But the overall pattern, we still generally have that northwest flow around here. And we still generally have somewhat of ridge of high pressure out west. Not as strong as what we have now. But I mean, this is a week from Wednesday, a week from Thursday, and then a week from Friday. We start to see the pattern change a little bit. Somewhat more of a trough, depending on how deep this gets. more likely for us to start seeing rain and storms. And right there, Friday, March 27th, Saturday, March 28th, about the first time we have a more substantial rain chance showing up on at least this projection. And even then, probably not severe, at least hopefully not. As this pattern starts shifting more toward us, those chances get better. But look what date we're at, March 30th, maybe the 31st. So we paid for it this last week with all the storm chances. I think we get it while we're away from it, looking at the extended forecast. Another way I can show that, again, using our fuel here on the jet stream. And again, we always look for the kind of the orangish sort of colors there. Where those show up, we know we have a little bit of fuel. And I mentioned Friday into Saturday where it kicked out a little bit of moisture. We do have a little bit of fuel here, but we don't have any upper level lift. That's why even if we see some sort of precipitation, more often than not, it's probably going to be just a lighter variety rainfall, maybe some rumbles. A little more fuel farther north, but not necessarily for us. I know that might seem odd because it's not just moisture, it's moisture heating and the atmosphere stacked the right way for that. But again, minimal fuel all the way through, Tuesday of next week, looking toward Wednesday of next week, looking toward Thursday of next week. Now we're at March 26th, and Friday of next week. Still, none of that orange showing up in our area. So all of that to say, yeah, under-impressive on all of this, even through the latter part of the month. They'll take that next big storm system there, possibly if this is yesterday is Monday, so this would be 2 weeks from Monday. We're a long ways out there before we see something that maybe digs in here and maybe possibly has a little bit of fuel to work off of. So the pattern, typically fairly stormy in March. We've just come off of that. The extended forecast looking a little bit less so. What I'm going to do now is I want to show some of your weather pictures. I'm going to walk across the studio here over to our monitor to do that. You guys have done such a great job of sending in some weather pictures the last week or so, and we appreciate that here in the Mississippi Live Weather app. Again, free and available for all those different devices. These are just the pictures coming in really the last 24 hours. Not a ton of those, showing a little bit of damage there. Ashley sending in a shot here again of a tree that at least part of a tree that broke down, fell on a roof there at her location. One of the things, if you haven't caught it yet, we have a video we posted on Facebook and YouTube of a funnel cloud northeast of Tupelo. It was with the system that came through on that'd been Sunday night, about 9 o'clock hour. We were actually able to go back and use our camera with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, our Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling camera there to kind of see a funnel cloud. I think a similar shot. Don't think it ever touched down and turned into a tornado, but that's an interesting picture there. Looking toward Marietta, I mean, that's pretty much exactly where we caught that shot. I might be able to pull that up for you if you give me a little time here. Our app works all over the place. These coming from Janesville, Wisconsin. Appreciate this picture here. Wanda Brown sending in a little bit of snowfall up there. A reminder that, yes, it is less wintry here, but man, I never want to live someplace where you have to have a tractor to deal with snow, and that just looks like a common thing that they're used to doing. Ooh, nope, want no part of that there. Let's also see, again, a nice sunset shot. So a lot of different ways you can use the Mississippi Live Weather app. If you have the app, we of course thank you so much. But if you have friends and family, let them know that we have an app for Roku, for all of the Android, iOS devices, Apple TV. We're all over the place, right? We do all the different things in all different places with that. I'm going to check here behind the scenes, kind of check and see in the chat what people are kind of saying. I'll pop that chat up here for just a moment so that we can see that. Give me just a moment. That would be this one there. And so we appreciate all of you guys again for watching. Hello, Markellas and Kira and a lot of our folks there. Wanda Brown watching. Hold on, let's just check this a second ago here, Wanda. Was that your picture? I got to get my brain turned on and off. Absolutely. So Wanda, there you go. There's your snow pictures. We appreciate you watching all the way from up there in Wisconsin. Thank you so much for your support and for all of you for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. You can send in your pictures, and I'll tell you this, like you send one in right now, and I'd hit refresh, and it pops up in there. And one of the cool things is that the way this works is it kind of shows us on a map where all those are as well. So those are the people that sent it in today. Obviously, if you go back to the storms, the number of people that sent in were a lot greater. So thank you so much again for all of you for supporting us here in Mississippi Live Weather. Hi there, Weather Authority Kid Meteorologist. Hopefully you're having a great day. Our next live broadcast is going to be coming up here at 10 p.m. You're going to get Gabe at 10 p.m. here in the Rain-ger Weather Center. And while you're looking over there at the jet stream, one of the things he'll be looking at, of course, that extended forecast. He'll also be refining if we need to adjust some of the rain chances for tomorrow morning a little bit in particular. He'll have the latest updates on that. But download our app, free and available for all of those different devices here. I mentioned a moment ago for iOS devices, Android devices. Get the app. Visit us online, like, subscribe, all the things. And thank you so much again for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. I mentioned the newscast. Next newscast is 10 o'clock. That's where you'll see Gabe. That's where, of course, he'll be in the Rain-ger Weather Center talking about all the latest information. So keep it here.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious when he began to discover weather. Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.